Thank you for coming. All right, y'all. So who knows who the biggest purchasers of services and goods and products is in the United States?
Recording in progress.
The government, right? Right? And we have T.R. Richardson, somebody that's going to give you some great information on how you as a business owner can tap in to this person of this establishment of persons that are willing to help you out. You know, some of the tips, the tricks, and some of the facts that you need to know, all right? All right, so please give a big hand to my friend, my colleague, and member of the Beats Committee, which is a franchise and business owner summit that we're putting together in Tuskegee, Alabama. Give a hand for for T.R. Richardson.
All right, everyone, good afternoon. Thank you so much, Mr. Love, for teeing me up, and Janelle and everybody else as well. I don't know if this is the most baritone voice you've ever heard, if you've ever heard Barry White or any of those other people. But if you've never heard my voice or you don't know my name is T.R. Richardson. I am the Chief Training Officer of Richwood International. We provide high-impact performance development training, coaching, and consulting. We are a human capital development agency. So I'll tell you a little bit about us in the beginning, in a little bit. However, today we're here and we're going to talk a little bit about government contracting. So raise your hand if you know a little bit about government contracting already. Okay? Tell me what you know about government contracting, sir.
First, you got to register on the SAM system.
Okay, register on SAM. We'll talk about that a little bit. What about yourself, young lady? You know,
It's very competitive.
it's very competitive. Tell me more.
You really have to have your ducks in a row.
Okay, you got to have your ducks in a row. Okay, very, very important. Anyone else know anything about government contracting that they're courageous enough to share? Ms. Janelle, yes, ma'am. SBA, the Small Business Administration. So there's some resource partners in there as well, okay? So we're going to talk about an introduction to government contracting in general today. So I want to give you all some strategies and modalities that you can use if you've never heard about government contracting before, or if you know a little bit about it, but you don't necessarily know a lot, or you've been going down the YouTube rabbit hole and you don't know who to believe. I want to be able to clear up some things today. So today we're going to talk about how to grow, how to start, scale, succeed, and sustain in government contracting. So we'll do a brief introduction here. What's the purpose today? To educate you all as small business owners. And I heard we've got a couple of different businesses and industries in here. So I know we've got fitness. What other industries do we have in here today, small business owners? So we got real estate, medical, beauty. Okay, what other industry do we have? Financial advising. What type of contracting?
HVAC.
HVAC, okay. So AC, HVAC. All of those things are in government contracting in one way or another. Even myself, when I first heard about government contracting, I was actually going through the Jax Bridges program a couple years ago. And if you know Dr. Carlton, anyone in here going through Jax Bridges know Dr. Carlton? Dr. Carlton pulled me aside one day and he said, you know you can do what you're doing in government contracting, right? See, to me, government contracting seemed like something for construction, something for landscaping, something for hard services or hard products, and people who sell products to the government. We don't sell product, we sell a service. So it seemed foreign to me. But Dr. Robinson, he let me know that we could provide the same services that we were already providing in the private space, in the corporate space, in all of our industries that we were already successful. We didn't have to reinvent the wheel. All we had to do was open our minds to this different industry and this different division for the government. And we provide the same services that we do over there now in another market. So if you're looking for ways to increase your revenue, if you're looking for ways to grow, if you're looking for ways to scale, I want to introduce you to a little bit more about government contracting. And we'll talk about the 3 different levels that you can do it on as well, because it's simple to do, but it's not always easy to do. Just because it's simple doesn't make it easy. And we'll talk about some of those different things today. But really what I want to give you is practicum-based pathways. When you go and you hear a lot about government contracting, when you go down YouTube, when you go to even some of these resources, they may give you a lot of theory, things that work in theory or on paper or in general for everyone. But what about those things that are tailored in practice, in the real world, specifically for you, specifically for your business, to give you roadmaps based off of how you work and what works for you and your business and your goals. So I want to give you a couple of different pathways and real world practical based strategies and modalities that you can actually start using and implementing today. So as I shared with you, and as you already know, we've already kind of talked about this, the government is the world's largest procurer of goods and services. So when you hear about pens, toilet paper, prosthetic wigs for cancer patients in the military, all of those things come through government contracting, and they have a NAICS code, and we'll talk about some of those different things. But remember, government contracting provides you, for those who are looking for ways to have an additional revenue stream, they can provide you with some longer term contracts. Anyone in here, when you got into business, you were trying to make as much money as you could, just trying to make money from wherever you could. Then we made the money. Then we had to keep making the money and keep finding clients and keep doing that, rinsing and repeating. Government contracts provide you with a little bit longer and sometimes a little bit more stable long-term contracts, because these contracts, they usually are for a year or two, and many of them have options to renew for up to 2, 3, 4, 5 years. There's even on a federal level something called an IDIQ, indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity, which means that once you sign up and you get selected into the government's pool, you no longer have to bid. They will come to you in that pre-selected pool for an indefinite delivery of services in an indefinite quantity for, I believe, up to 20 years. So these are things that you can really grow and sustain your business through what you're already doing, but also through this other avenue of government contracting. And what I love about it is, remember, there's no upskilling. You're not going to have to learn something new unless you want to do something new. But you can take the service that you already have for your existing private clients, personal clients, corporate clients, and now you just have government clients as well, providing those same or similar services. Any questions so far? All right, so government contracting, by definition, government contracting is how government entities procure goods and services from private businesses. So the government isn't like a regular person. If I need the wall, say for example, I need this wall painted, or I think I need this wall painted, I turn around, I don't necessarily like this wall. If I'm the government, I can't just go down the street to Sherwin-Williams and go buy paint and paint the wall. I can't necessarily go on my phone and see who I know that's a painter and call my cousin because I know him and come and paint that wall. The government has to have what's called fair open market competition, which means that they have to release that opportunity to everybody through the form of a solicitation. The most common solicitation form is called an RFP, a request for proposal, where the government is letting you know, hey, we've got these services that we think that we need done. We're requesting that your business submit a proposal and tell us about how you can satisfy this need for us. Tell us all about the benefits of what you're going to do, the deliverables that we're going to receive from you from providing this service. That's the things that you're going to put in your proposal response, among other things. But it allows you to be able to compete on opportunities in the government space, whether it's on the local, state, or federal level. Because you have the local level, for example, when we look at the school system, the local level is what? DCPS, so Duval County Public Schools, right? They're down there on Prudential, down at the end. But on a state level, we have what? The Florida Department of Education, right? And then on the federal level, we just have the United States Department of Education. So that's how I want you to think about government contracting on a local, state, and federal level. And you can pick how you want to play it, whatever works best for you. So some people, they want to go big, they want to go national, they play on the federal level. Some people, they want to stay local, or they want to grow, at least starting through local, so they start on a local level or a state level. So you can pick and grow however what works best for your business for you to grow and scale. So I shared with you the different levels between local, state, and federal, and a couple of different contract types like IDIQ, indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity, RFP, request for proposal, which is the most common proposal type, and then RFQ, which may stand for request for qualifications or request for a quote, depending on if you're playing on a federal or a local or state level. Those are just a couple of the different most common solicitation types. Any questions so far? All right. All right, so what opportunities are there in government contracting? As I shared with you, the local government, that's going to focus on the smaller, more community-based projects that are specific to a local location. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be in that local location. I can be in Jacksonville and not do business in Jacksonville because I do business with the local government of Miami-Dade County. So I want you, or Orlando, or Tampa, or wherever that local government or municipality may be. And depending on how the local government is set up, it may be a city, it may be a county, it may be a municipality. Those are different depending on where you are and who you're targeting on a local level. But that's going to be for those projects that are on a local level here, just like I talked about with DCPS. The state contracts, those are the ones that are state funded. So that may be, for example, when you go on an I-95 or any interstate in Jacksonville, really right now, at some point you're going to hit construction. That's FDOT, the Florida Department of Transportation, because the interstate goes all around the state of Florida, right? So it's not just going to be someone in Jacksonville. That's more of a state contract for the state of Florida to service the roads in the state of Florida. And then last but not least, like we talked about federal, that's a larger, more complex reach. That's involving the military and those larger federal organizations. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't do federal work on a local level. For example, we have military bases here. We have Mayport, we've got NAS Jax, there's Kingsland Bay, all the tri-county bases around here. That's going to be federal work, comes through the federal work. But it's here, the place of performance is local. So the place of performance is local, but in order to procure it through the military, that's going to be on the federal level. So I want you all to understand that, remember, you can plug and play and figure out what works best for you, but I just want to give you a clear foundation on the different things that you can do here. So what are the criteria for doing government contracting? If you're interested in having the government as a client on the local, state, or federal level, how do you actually do that? Well, you're going to need to register with sam.gov. And here's the thing about registering with sam.gov. You need to register with sam.gov if you're getting paid directly by the government. I want to be clear with that. So why am I saying it that way? Because you don't necessarily need to be registered on SAM to search for opportunities. You don't necessarily need to be registered on SAM to use some more of the creative procurement opportunities that come through partnering and subcontracting and things like that. However, if you want to have a contract directly with the government, where the government is directly paying your business, you need to be registered in sam.gov. You need to have a case code and a UEI number. Because if you don't, let's say, for example, you have a government contract, and this is something that you have to renew on an annual basis, and your SAM code or your UEI and your case code expires, you got a government contract, but the government can't pay you. Exactly, you don't want those problems. We want to have a government contract, and we want to be payable by the government, especially if it's a contract that's directly to us. So make sure that you're renewing your case code, your EIN through sam.gov on an annual basis and being proactive and not letting it lapse or expire, because it's a lot harder to reinstate than it is to just continue it and to do it for the next year. So you got to register. Then remember, we talked about the financial stability and understanding knowing your business. So you got to have financial stability and past performance. Now, there are a couple of creative ways that you can get past performance for government contracting, through things like teeming, through things like partnering, through things like white label 1099 subcontracting. That allows you to be able to say, yes, I've done work for the government on your capability statement. Also, you got to have the financial stability. And I always like to spotlight this because we all want to get the money, but we got to be prepared to get the money from the government. So let's say, for example, You want to do business with the government, you go and you get registered and all of that, and you find an opportunity that you like. It's in your area, it's in your service offerings. You see that the opportunity is $500,000, it's $600,000. It's $600,000 annually. Is that something that you would like? Okay, well, and I would too. However, one of the things that us as small businesses don't understand or don't pay attention to when we see those opportunities is that we have to be able to have the financial ability to handle those opportunities. And here's what I mean by that. $600,000 a year, that's $50,000 a month. Now, the government is going to pay you, but they don't always pay you on time. So if you have a government contract, you're going to have the financial stability to keep business going until they pay you. They will pay you, but sometimes it may be delayed. And that's what I mean. And that's what I mean. You got to be able, so in a $600,000 contract annually, how much money do I need to be able to float? What's the answer? From a math, 50 grand. There we go. I tried to make it easy. So 50 grand, I got to be able to have 50 grand just in case the government is a little bit late. To keep business going until they pay me, because I know that they're going to pay me, but there may be government shutdown. We don't know sometimes what happens with the government, holiday season, whatever it may be. So I want you to be aware of the financial stability that's required in government, and especially when we're doing those larger contracts above the simplified acquisition threshold of $250,000 on a federal level. Yes, ma'am.
Isn't that why we would need to talk with the SBA possibly for a loan?
You can definitely talk to them.
And that's why you got to be able to leverage those resource partners like Janelle and the SBA, like the SBDC, like SCORE, all of these other things that I'll show you here in just a minute, where you want to be able to leverage these sources, especially because there's no cost for any of the ones that I just named. You're already the taxpayer, you're already paying for these sources. And remember, us as small business owners, some of the most limited resources that we have in the beginning of starting a small business is time, money, and people.
Yes.
So if we can find people that will come and we'll be able to leverage their knowledge, their skills, their resources, like you can through the SBA, the SBDC, SCORE, some of these other resource providers with technical assistance, then definitely leverage those resources. So you got to have the registration requirements and financial stability, and then we talked about certifications. These aren't required, but these are some things that can set you apart. Now, I always want to spotlight this to my small business owners. Please, 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 if you get a certification, if and when, do not lead with your certification. No one cares that you're a small business owner who's 8A or women-owned or veteran-owned or any of those things, unless they already know the services that you provide and they know, like, and trust you, and they know that you provide quality services. Because we live in the real world. And in the real world, people do business with who they know, like, and trust. And if I don't know you, I don't like you, I don't trust you, and it sounds like you're just coming to me to get some money because you're associate, because you got this set aside and I got to meet these things. In the real world, sometimes agencies will not meet their metrics to work with people that they know are going to provide quality work, then take a chance meeting a metric with somebody that they don't have a relationship with. So this is why we want to let them know who we are, what we do, how we deliver value. Oh, and also, I can help you meet your metrics because I'm this, because I'm that, so on and so forth. But it doesn't come before my services and my products and the value that I deliver to you. Make sense? So never lead with your certifications. Definitely leverage them, but never lead with them. And then last but not least, we talked about the importance of knowing your business. In the beginning, we're figuring it out. We're building the plane while flying it. We're building the car while riding in it as small business owners, right? We're really trying to figure out, okay, what's the heart and soul and characteristics of our business? We've got to figure all of those things out before we try to do government contracting. Because you need to figure out what your NAICS code is. You need to figure out who you're targeting. Remember, the government's a large place. I don't just have to figure out which level I'm going to play on, local, state, and federal. I've got to figure out who I'm going to target on those levels too. So you want to make sure that you understand who you are, what you do, and how you do it so that you can confidently and concisely communicate that to the government in a way that they can understand and give you an opportunity. So I want to make sure that we are clear. Make sure that you understand your business before you go and try to do business with the government, because they're not going to do business with you if they ask you some questions and they automatically know, hey, you're not ready. You can't answer these questions about your business, let alone about government contracting. So make sure you know your business, because you can never get a first impression back. Uh-oh, wrong button. Uh-oh, come back to me, come back to me. There it is. Just making sure y'all alert. Okay, here we go. Timelines and deadlines in government contracting. So I shared with you a couple of different solicitations. We got the solicitation release date. So the solicitation will get released, let's say, today. Then you'll have the proposal submission. So this is the date that it gets released. This is the date that it is due. You've got to have your response and what you're going to say to them, how you're going to do it, all of that value that you're going to deliver by that proposal due date, which also can be the opening date. And I know that's confusing, but they call it the opening date because that's when they open the solicitation. I just want to clear that up for those who are going to pursue this and just kind of give you a little bit of clarity before you get there. And then, so there's the post submission. They got to go, they got to figure out who they like. They're going to shortlist people. So usually they'll call you in for interviews. You get the contracting right. And then you got the contract award, which is the final stage. This is when you actually have the contract. You sign your name on the dotted line, and then you can start delivering your service delivery and meeting your project milestones. So this is very, very simple and concise. But this is kind of how that contracting goes in a simple 4 steps. We got the solicitation release date, the proposal submission date, when the contract is awarded, and when we actually begin service delivery. Questions? All right, Randolph, how long do I have? Mr. Love, how long do I have? I want to make sure as long as, okay, don't tell me. I'm like a Southern Baptist preacher up here.
That proposal submission.
Yes, sir.
I want to know, maybe off the record, but that proposal submission, tell me what that means again.
So proposal submission, so let's go back to the painting, right? So I need this wall painted, right? I can't just go to Sherwin-Williams. We've got to do what we do to get the solicitation ready. That's a whole thing. I could do a whole course on that. But we get the solicitation ready. The solicitation now comes out to the open market, right? That's the solicitation release date. Now, between, let's say it's open for a month, so it's due, I release it today, it's due next month on the same day. What's today, the 23rd? 24th. It's due November 24th, a month from now. And in that month, I've got to get my submission ready. Now, a lot of things happen in that month. There's pre-bid meetings that are mandatory and non-mandatory. There's question and answer periods, so on and so forth. Like I said, I got a whole course on this. But in that, just to keep it simple, in that month, we've got to get our proposal submission ready by the due date. Okay, so how do we plan and how do we prepare for government contracts for those who are interested? Well, it's always important to know where you're going with a plan and having some goals. So we want to ensure that you all have the capacity and resources that align with the requirements of the contracts that you all are pursuing. Make sure that you do your market research. And I know that that's a word that you probably have heard before, and you're going to hear again in the government contracting space. But really, this is for you to do some market research so that you can target who you're going to serve, who you're going to sell to, and what you're going to sell to them. Because you may need some additional things to prepare you for that. For example, he's talking about, I know Thrive has been mentioned here. So there's a person in our class that does, what does Justin do? He does aerotech.
Yeah, he does.
He works in space. He works in space. Seriously. So if you want to work in space, do you think that you would need to do something to prepare to work in space? That's what I'm saying. So make sure that wherever you're going, that you've done the research to know what you need to be prepared when you get there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, the government does have budgets and procurement cycles, and the government's fiscal year is not on the regular year. We are actually in Q1. October is the first month of the government fiscal year. So we actually just started the first month of the Q1 for the government contracting. And that allows us, if you know what the government procurement cycle is, it allows you to be able to play with strategies. For example, I know that we're in the first quarter right now, but the last quarter, July, August, and September, is open season.
Budget burn.
Budget burn. So can you tell us a little bit about what budget burn means, Janelle?
So for federal government contracting, in the space of working with federal budgets, if you don't use it, you lose it, right? Yeah. So we have to use what we have, because otherwise people that are higher authorities than us will tell us, well, you obviously didn't use it this year, so you don't need it next year. So the last quarter, especially last year we were under what was called a continuing resolution for 6 months, which means that we were given a little bit of money to do our normal operations, but it was based on what we did the previous year. And during a CR, unless it's due to national security or something like that, new government contracts aren't written. So that's the other thing you have to remember, is that when you're targeting these agencies, they may not be accepting or writing new contracts right now. So during the CR, which we're in right now until December 20th, there won't be a lot of new contracts written, but they'll give you a little bit of money to do what you need to do. That pushed us last year, where the last quarter, as TR said, was a big scramble to get all the money spent. Because we got full year funding at about March, April, and then we had till September to spend it all. So, you know, if you want to do government contracting, now is the perfect time to start doing your research on those agencies, getting those contacts, getting them to know that you exist, so that when these contracts come out, you're not an unknown quantity, right? You're going to industry days, you're going to matchmakers, you're going to events that TR holds and Randolph holds, where they can bring some contracting people in. But everyone's got a little bit different schedule too. Locally, I think they end June, right? It's the end of the fiscal year for the school board. So the timing is everything when you're doing government contracts. Always, timing is huge.
Anybody want the government to burn their budget on you? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Burn it on me. There we go. There we go. Get a little piece of that burn money. Because remember, like Janelle said, in order to get it next year, I got to use it all this year. So if I haven't used it by the last quarter, I'm figuring out ways to do it. And that's why we employ strategies like capability briefings, like unsolicited proposals, and some of the things that I'll talk about here in just a little bit. So creating a winning proposal. How do we do that? Well, you got to understand how to read the proposal first. Anyone ever here read a proposal before? Read a solicitation advertisement? Okay, and you know, if you've read it before, that it could sometimes be 10 pages. Sometimes it's 100 pages. I was doing something with one of my clients out at the airport for Concourse B. They had an RFP that was like 988 pages. So you've got, yeah. So how do we go through and find out the information of what the government is actually wanting us to do? So you got to understand how to read the RFP, how to read the solicitation. You also, we suggest to you the power of building relationships and doing what we call moving to the left of the procurement life cycle towards where there is no cone of silence. So this is one of the terms that you'll see common in government contracting, a contract officer. I want you to understand that government contracting is a vicarious purchase. What do I mean by that? Similar to when you buy a toy for your child or your niece. You don't use that toy. The child or the niece uses the toy. So the person who purchases it, isn't the person who actually is the end user. And it's the same way in government contracting. The contract officer is the purchaser. The program manager or the director is the user. So I want you all to understand that when we start talking capability briefings and you'll hear, oh, talk to the contract officer, talk to the CRO or the core, all of those different things. Move as far left as possible to not only the contract officer, but even a step further to the procurement manager or to the program manager and director, because they are the ones who are actually saying, I think I need this wall painted. And then they go to procurement and say, hey, find someone to paint that wall for me. Does that make sense? Yes. All right, so key industries and opportunities. So I know that we talked about some different industries. There is some big space and opportunity in defense, in IT right now. There's always things in construction, healthcare, and manufacturing. But no matter what your opportunity is or what your industry is, there is some opportunity in government contracting for you. We just got to find out where it is on a local, state, and federal level, and then we can target it. So the way that you do that is through some market research. And I know that that's a loaded term. And we show you how to do market research in our program, but these are some of the sites that you can go and you can actually do market research to find new opportunities, existing opportunities. We can go and use some of these websites to find out, okay, I want to find out where they're going to spend the money in the future, so let me go to find out where they spent it in the past. So you want to go to sam.gov, that's for new active solicitations and advertisements. FPDS, that's going to be where you are able to go and find out where the money was spent, so that we can find out where it's going to be spent. State and local portals, there's so many different state and local portals. Here on the local, we got all the different agencies, JAA, JTA, JIA, DCPS, all of that good stuff. And then remember, acquisition.gov, if we want to find out where the money's going in the future, this is where we go and we find our forecasts. So right now, Q1, this is where we need to be going to find out where are they planning on spending the money in 2025. So I can do what Janelle said, which is to reach out to people and start building that relationship, letting them know who I am so that they know me, like me, trust me. And even if the opportunity isn't today in the present, I'm in position for when it comes through tomorrow in the future. Any questions so far? All right, so I got 5 more minutes? 5 more minutes? Perfect. All right. I told him. All right. Okay, so. All right, maybe 10. I'll be done by 1. So who are the key players in government contracting? Who do you actually want to get in contact with and let them know this is who I am, this is what I do, this is how I deliver value? Well, it all depends on your strategy in government contracting. Are you trying to win contracts directly, which is what most people do? But that isn't the only way to win money in government contracting. You can also do teaming and partnering with prime contractors. You can even do something, what is a little known thing called white label 1099 service, to where basically you have your own business, I have my own business, you bring me on as 1099 and I wear your shirt. This is how we can use that strategy and get creative. Yeah, I just blew your mind, right? So this is how we can use creative strategies to learn the rules of the game and play the game by the rules, because these are the rules of the game. We can swap, we may not be able to do that as employees, but we can do that as 1099. If you've ever heard of 8As and different things like that, to where now the Alaskan Native 8As, they're what we call they call them super 8As. And they have worked together collaboratively, because we can collaborate. We can't collude, but we can collaborate. They're similar, but they're not the same. And now I'm at the top. But then when I get ready to go expire, because 8A has a limited term, now I'm in a group of people, and now we just put you at the top. And when you get ready to expire, we put somebody else at the top, and we keep moving that way. This is how we can utilize these different prime and subcontracting opportunities outside of just winning money directly to our business. So I want you to be mindful of those different things. And just like Janelle said, many people, they don't pay attention to the relationship aspect of government contracting. So industry days and networking events will help you do that. You got to go and meet the right people here on a local level. If you're not already, I recommend you, this is a shameless plug for JSEB, to get JSEB certified. Administrator Grant is doing some amazing things here in the city on a local level. JSEB is the Jacksonville Small Emerging Business Program. They are now located in City Hall on the 2nd floor, Suite 250. So if you're interested in the JSEB program, I would recommend to you, get certified here on a local level, or at the very least, reach out to Administrator Grant and let them know, and build a relationship with them, and let them know you're interested in doing government contracting. And then there's some other industry associations. I actually am on the executive board of NCMA, the local chapter. There's also NIGP, the National Institute of Government Procurement, and NASPO, NASPO, National Association of State Procurement Officials. Joining these associations will allow you to meet the people who actually work in the government. They work in the government. They work in large primes. And you build a relationship through the association. Now you just don't seem like a hungry business person coming off the street. We already have a relationship and an existing connection through this association. So these are some strategic ways that you can do that. So, as Janelle said, these are some of the different resource partners, and I mentioned to you, we got the SBDC and the Apex accelerators over at UNF right around the street. Janelle's here, representing the Small Business Association. They're located off of Bay Meadows. And then there's also private government contracting, training, and consulting, things like this program here. So, you see how I just rolled right into that? Want me to go back for you? I see it in your eyes. I see it in your eyes real quick. All right, so if this has interested you in any way and you are interested in doing business with the government, we have a curated program specific for individuals who are interested in starting, scaling, and sustaining in government contracting. We like to target what we call tier 1 businesses. So if you've been in business at least 3 to 5 years and you got it between $30,000 and $500,000 in annual revenue, we'd like to talk about how we can help you grow and scale in government contracting. So what is this program? P3 is our program. It has 8 different modules. 5 of them are education modules, and then we have the post-education support modules, because studies and our research has shown us that education is one thing, but you need that post-education for implementation to create the impact, because that's another thing. So we educate you, and then we support you, and we coach you, and we go through real-world scenarios and things like that. So we got the tailored curriculum, and then we want to make sure that no matter what your industry is, this program, its purpose is to help fuel economic growth. And if you don't know, economy is built on small businesses, on a local level, on a national level. So we want to be able to help more people be prepared to grow and succeed in government contracting, no matter what your business is, because that's going to help everybody. That's going to help the local government, that's going to help the national government. We all win, and we love to create symbiotic relationships. So what are the course components? We go through the procurement lifecycle. That's module 1. We want to teach you about the procurement lifecycle, the different ways that you can make money in government contracting, through schedules, through different types of solicitations, through the GSA, through simplified acquisition, all of those different things. So we go through what is the procurement lifecycle. Then we go through and we teach you how to read a proposal. Because remember, I shared, sometimes they're 10 pages, sometimes they're 100 pages. We need to be able to, because we got limited time, we need to be able to know how to read a proposal and make what's called a go, no-go decision. We don't need to be standing all day reading 100 pages for something that we may not even submit, because our time is our money. So we want to make sure that we understand how to read a proposal so that we can make quick go, no-go decisions. We also want to make sure that we understand the strategies to increase your bid frequency realistically. A lot of people say, hey, I want to do 10 bids a month. Well, you know, it's less likely for you to go to from 0 to 10 than it is to go from 0 to 3, and then from 3 to 5, and so on and so forth. So we'll show you how to increase your bid frequency through partnerships, and show you what we call off RFP strategies that you can win not only through solicitation, but through those other methods that I shared with you as well, where you don't necessarily win directly, but the government, you still do get money from the government, and you still do service the government. And then last but not least, my favorite module, which is market research. Because when you go to some of these resources, they'll tell you, you need to do your market research, which is the what, but they don't necessarily show you the how. So we go through and we show you how to search FPDS. We show you how to search SAM.gov. We show you how to do market research on a local level to search the Florida Accountability Contract Tracking System, to do public records requests, to pull old information so that they can help you with your estimating for the future. We walk you through all of those different things to show you how to actually do it, because we want you to sustain without us. We want to show you how to fish, not teach you one specific way how to fish. I want to teach you the concept of fishing, and then if you want to fly fish, go ahead. If you want to go deep sea fishing, go ahead. If you want to just fish from the bank, go ahead. Whatever works best for you. So that's our claim to fame. What makes this course different, as I've shared with you, is practicum based, and I want to be respectful of Randolph's time here, so I'm going to speed through a little bit quickly here. So what deliverables will you get from this? Well, you've got support, we've got resources, we've got pre-curated resources in here, like all of the different directors of all of the different agencies, locally and nationally. Like specific procurement strategies that you can use in the pre-solicitation and post-solicitation. So no matter what you want to do, we've got something for you. So if this is something that you're interested in, scan that QR code, join our wait list. No cost to you. All you got to do is scan the QR code, complete the form, and then you also have the opportunity to join the wait list. And if you're really interested, you say, hey, TR, this is something where I actually want to put some skin in the game. I actually want to move forward with this. Wait till everybody gets it real quick. Did you just take a picture with your...
Yeah.
Whoa. We got to talk afterwards. Anyways. Just took a picture with her glasses. I just saw a little light click right there. Anywho. So the future is now, right? Ain't that what the commercials say? Okay, so if you are really interested, we have what's called a deposit program. So you can actually put a small deposit down, and what we've done is it allows you to it's basically like purchasing a $50 coupon, because what that allows us to do is go and pursue funding, So this isn't a free program. I want to be upfront with that. If you're interested, we can talk about how much it costs. However, we are trying to do something about the cost of it, and this will help us do that. Because what this does is when I go and I find a funder, I say, hey, I have people that are interested. As a matter of fact, Mr. Potential Funder, I've got people that are so interested that they put a small deposit down. Please help us fund this program so that we can provide it to them low cost, no cost, or reduced cost. So if you're very, very interested, help us make the cost of the program, bring it down as much as possible, and you can join the deposit list at this QR code right here for those who are interested. Now, whether you sign up or not, I appreciate your energy, attention, and respect, and I would like a review from you, and this is no cost at all. So everybody, pull out all your phones. Pull out all your phones here. And tell me what you liked about the presentation, what you didn't, what you wanted to be added to it. And there is a free resource here. You're going to need to enter the code SMART GOALS, no space, SMART GOALS with an S, and you'll get our free SMART GOALS as a resource to download to help you develop some SMART goals for your business, for government contracting, for whatever it is that you need. All right, any questions so far?
What's the code?
SMART GOALS. Smart goals. So smart like we all are, and goals like FIFA with an S. No space, so it's a compound word. All right, everyone, that's my time, most definitely. I appreciate your energy, attention, and respect, everybody. Take my seat, and we do our next raffle, right?
My next question is, do I start now?
Now.
and everybody, please, one more hand for Janelle here for coming in.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no.
November 21st. I'll reach out.
Okay.
All right.